Hey you guys, what's up? Combat Saturday. Today's video, I want to talk about guard hand positions. Okay, there are numerous ones, and each one has its own uh, benefits and advantages, disadvantages. But more than anything, you need to understand context. Okay, so the rules, the environment in which you're fighting. Okay, you need to understand these things. Okay, so first of all, in a self-defense situation, okay, there's no guard at all because you're here, you're standing here in a natural neutral stance. Suddenly, there is a situation, okay, whatever. Someone's comes towards you. Well, now there's a situation. So it's not like when a bell rings and you come up fighting. It's not like that. I mean, someone is right here in your face and want to start some trouble with you. Okay, so immediately, whoa, right? You may get your hand up, all right? I may go, hmm. I may hear. Okay, these are not really guard positions. They're ready positions because none of them appear like you really want to fight. None of them are obvious guards like you're gonna do like a boxing or MMA match. Okay, it's just you're just standing naturally. Okay, so when you look at for example, in Wing Chun, we do a lot of drills in this Zhong Sao position. Okay? Now, one of the big misconceptions about it is that if someone is, 10 feet away from you, you're going to stand like this. You know, and that's the thing. So people always have this guard like that no matter what. Okay? You need to understand something, okay? Wing Chun is a close range system, meaning that it's off some kind of bridge. So this represents already having a bridge, already having contact with someone. So boom, okay, my arm doesn't start there. It may start here, whatever. It may start here in my pocket. I don't know. It may start here, but it ends up there. It ends up there, okay. And then from there, if I feel pressure on my arm, I'll go into a bong sao. I may go into a lap sao. I may do all these things, okay. But it's because I have a bridge. That's why we do drills in that position. But it doesn't mean that if you're in a boxing match or something like that, when there's like a distance there, you're going to be standing there like an idiot like this, which is what people do, which is completely stupid. Okay, so that is the context of that guard, which you can say it's not even really a guard at all. Okay, it's a bridge, really. Okay, and when you look at the old bare knuckle boxing days, okay, you'll see him standing like that here, and people wonder why would you do that. Again, context. All right. In the old days, bare knuckle days, you were allowed to do stand up grappling. You were allowed to do knees. Okay. So in this position, you could jam someone. Right. You could jam someone. Right. And because the vertical fist or diagonal fist tends to be a little bit safer to punch bare knuckle, well, this would also facilitate that, right? Because I would be in that kind of position. Okay. All right. So so people often look at those pictures. You wonder why would you stand that way? Okay. Well, first of all, no gloves. Okay. So you can't put a close in your face here, where we have essentially a big pillow in your face. You can't do that. Which, yeah, and even if you do have gloves, big gloves, it's not a good idea anyway because you can sometimes punch yourself because you get punched. You can punch yourself, so it's not good to have it anyway, right? But some people just cover up the head of that, right? Which isn't really a good idea. Okay, because you're blocking your vision, and your options are very limited. Okay, so okay, so what is what I would call an overall good guard for most situations? Okay, well, one thing is you need to have those elbows down. Okay, okay. I see sometimes I've seen guys like this where like that, where the elbows out. Well, you're all open here. So and I don't know, they're so open at that. It's a really bad position. Okay, now sometimes these guys are good kickers, so they kind of rely on that. Okay, but I'm talking about hand positioning, and I want to point out one more thing: is that if you're talking about a self-defense situation, the chances of you actually kicking, um, certainly a higher kick above the waist is very low. Okay, you don't know what kind of a terrain you're going to be on. All right, it's very easy to lose your balance and things. Okay, you may do low kicks to the knees or shin, possibly the groin. That's it, no higher than that. Okay, so in you can't really rely on that. Okay, I'm talking about more like general self defense to allow for most situations. Okay, so you want to have those elbows in and down. Okay, in and down. So if someone tries to do like a body shot, right, I can absorb it. I can absorb it. Okay, boom. Okay, one elbow down. Also, my hands are not completely in center here, but it's a little open. Because the thing is that if you're completely in center, okay, I remember one time I was sparring with someone, and he was a kind of a classical Wing Chun guy, and he had his hands there and things. Well, I mean, very simple, okay, he was so extended, okay, now I can't remember exactly how I got it, but I think I essentially cut over his arm a couple times, and then I hooked him. I bang, 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 something like that. It's hard to recall exactly, but it was something like that. I got him, I got control of the arm there, and I hooked him. Okay, because he gave me his arm, so I just got out and bang. So that didn't work out too well. Okay, so what you really want to do is you want to kind of, have the elbows in, okay, and have it a little open. So this way, yes, I don't need to occupy center in order to defend center. If something comes in the middle, fine, I can do parries, whatever. Something comes down low, I can do that. Something comes up high, I can do that too. Okay, maybe someone tries to do like a big swing at that. Okay, so bang, right, bang. I do a little. I step in, okay, with it, step and bang. So I step in, I close the distance, right, jam here. Okay, I have that option. Okay, so my hands, one hand is close to my chin here, and the other one is a little more extended. Okay, so that way, bang, I can parry. Okay, parry, deflect. Okay, and block too, because maybe I'm a little late. Bang. Okay, there's a little block there. Okay, get on the elbow. All right. So you have more options, and also you're not so stiff there. If you're holding this position for a long period of time, you're gonna find that it gets very stiff after a while, very very tense. Okay. This way, it's more alive, more open. Okay, I can move my body more easily. Okay, I have options with my arm. I have different strike options. Okay, you have more options. Okay, so hand close to your chin, rear hand close to your chin, and then lead hand a little extended. Okay, it's kind of and aimed right to the target. Okay, this is kind of like a good general guard position. Okay, because if someone the elbows are down, someone tries to come in, you can drop your center of gravity. Okay, there. Okay, you want to do a leg block. Okay, you want to do a parry, a block in the center, away from center, whatever. You have more options. Okay, so that seems to be like a good, general guard hand position. Okay. There are some people who have both hands in a fist. They have both hands open. They have one in a fist, one open, opposite way. Okay, so you have a few options there as well. You have to kind of do some experimentation, trial and error, and see what works best for you. Okay, just always remember that there's never only one way to do it. Okay, but generally speaking, yeah, the big takeaways here is you want to have those elbows in and down, and you want to have a slightly open guard, but not too open. Slightly open, so that you have more defensive and offensive options. Okay, one more thing too is that when your hands are a little open, right, you can use the shoulders to really get more power into those strikes, to really use the hips and shoulders, boom, boom, boom. Really use the hips and shoulders to really get that power. Okay, whereas if you're so obsessed with being here in the center, you think the fight takes place in a little space about that big. Okay, and if all you're doing is training with other guys doing the same thing, fine. Okay, but when you're dealing with other people, well, it won't be. You're gonna get all kinds of things. Okay. So that's the thing, okay, and that's like a general guard position. Now sometimes you need to close in. If you've got punches coming every which way, okay, you need to come in. You do like a battering ram, a spear. You come in, just cover up, get in. You want to cover up, close the distance, take that angle, and then from there, bang, bang, bang. Yeah. It all depends on the context. Okay. So you know, if I were to show someone here, just standing at that, somebody is going to criticize it and say, "Oh, you can't do that." Okay, you know. Well, you understand though that if someone is going like, "Ah," well, maybe you kind of have to, okay, to get in there, okay. And sure, you'll take some shots on the shoulder and maybe the top of your head or whatever, okay. But you move in, and then get in there, and then you can do something, okay. And that's the whole idea, okay. There are far too many ridiculous demos of some guy throwing a punch, and the other guy does 10,000 things to it. Okay, I saw some guy who goes, "Hey, look, this is the slap happy, yeah." I mean, give me a goddamn break, okay? It's not gonna work, all right? Okay, all right. So you have to understand, you know, what makes the most realistic sense, okay, and what is most transferable to different situations in the street, okay? This position is pretty good for most things, I gotta say, okay? You know, not too bladed, okay? You're pretty much square, slightly angled, okay? One hand by your chin, one hand here, a little extended, and slightly open. This gives you offensive and defensive options, okay? All right? So, anyways, that's my take on the ideal guard for fighting, okay, for street defense without gloves, okay? And like it or not, fighting does change if you have the big 16-ounce gloves, whatever, or your bare knuckle. It does change, okay? So that's the thing. You need to also consider that people will kick, they will grapple, they will do these things. You need to consider all these things, okay? All right. So having here, you know, it's not like up too high. It's not all the way down here, but you so you can defend against the head attacks, lower body attacks. Right. Someone tries to grapple, your elbows down. It's easy to jam them. Drop your center of gravity. Okay. Have options there. Okay. There's a video. Any questions? As always, let me know, and I'll see you guys soon.